guys, it's been a little bit since I've done some coverage for the Miami Dolphins. I've been paying attention, but I moved from the lowlands up into outer space. My wife likes to call it the mountains. I think it's outer space. I think we're about 1,800 feet above sea level. My ears pop twice when we go up, I think, because we go high and then got to go down and then go back up. And it's great, though. I love it. But I don't think one thing went the way I expected. Every step of the way, it was problem solved, problem came back, another problem. It was a fight all the way through. And I'm not going to get into the particulars, but right now, before I even started to do this thing, I got a bat trapped in my bathroom. So it's been beautiful. Woke up this morning, my kids and my dog, we took a nice long walk down the road up and down, and you could see the mist in the mountains. It's unbelievable. I love it. I feel healthy. But the road from the start to the end was fraught with difficulties. But the ultimate goal was achieved. And this is the thing I want to talk about today for the Dolphins. I've been, paying attention, just haven't really been able to get 100%, and then obviously do my production. But I'm watching, and the hopium meter and hope meter is going through the roof. Both. There's real legitimate hope here, guys. I mean, you got to understand that. There's people who are like, we're doomed. And no, they don't see the hope. And then there's the people that everything's going, 5D chess. That's not really it either. This schedule came out for the Dolphins, not the where they're going to play and in what order, but the teams. And so when you look at our strength of schedule, we were ranked 24, and all kind of talk is coming out. So I want to go over the schedule, the teams, in an understanding that there is real legitimate hope, but you've got to understand that 24th spot, I'm going to make sure, my memory's, 24th, we're tied with Seattle and the Cardinals. It's a little bit of a smoke and mirror mirage. But that's a good thing in a lot of ways. You need a good schedule to validate who you are through the season and to sharpen your tools to go to the postseason. And this schedule, when I go over it, is not the 24 schedule in a sense. Well, it depends on when we play teams. If you're playing Green Bay week 1 compared to Green Bay and Lambeau, week 16, we got to find that stuff out. But these teams, the schedule is based on last year, and a lot of these teams got better. This does not mean I'm saying we're going to beat them. We're not going to beat them. But I want a sobriety because every year I've done this. And then with Phins News, this is all year. Everything's great. And then when problems hit, we're doomed. And I'll say like, hey, you know what? I think we can get through here. Just got this guy. You're an idiot. And then we get through it. And then it doesn't go where we want. And it's like, we suck. And then the next year, it's the same thing over and over again. I think there's legitimate hope. There's a lot of stuff that's got to play out. I mean, there's so many things. Clearly, you could see this team's loaded. Odell Beckham at receiver. We've got a new tight end, Jonnu Smith. We've got extra help now in the running back group. We've got help in the secondary, one of the best secondaries I think we've had in a long, long time. I mean, Poyer. Linebacking group I think is better. I got concerns with the edge, even though we got these rookies, and I'll get into all that stuff another day, and in the interior. But Weaver's going to call blitzes. He's going to do things, and there's ways to get through it, but nothing's guaranteed. So we've got to see how this plays out. But the talk now is it's a cake schedule, and if Tua doesn't succeed, it proves he sucks. And then B, it's a cake schedule. We're going to win like 17 games or 15 games or whatever. But guys, let's take a look at this schedule and really a sober look at the situation. I think we can have a shot at every one of these teams just about. There's maybe 4 or 5 I'd say, it's going to be a really hard sledding, and depending on when it plays out. But we're looking at another good season as far as, our record and being in contention in the playoffs at the end of the season. And then we've got to break through. Obviously, next year we get loads of picks. It's a 2-year window. I think after this year and next year, Greer should have his final evaluation. Some want to do it before. I'm not the hugest Greer fan, but the way it's laid out, I think you got to do it, and there's no other way. He's going to be here for a while. So anyway, guys, I'm going to start the lives up eventually soon. Again, I'm in space over here. I got to figure a way to get the connection to be stable. I got to. Some people telling me different things. So I'm going to hold off on the live. Maybe next week I'm going to resolve everything. But I'll be back in full coverage, guys. So I want to give you a shout out. A shout out to Ace Spread, my sponsor. Without the two of you, this show ain't going down. Ace Per Head's betting software is the premier white label platform for bookies to manage their players and grow their sportsbook operation. Click the link in the description below to get set up in minutes. Ask for the Curtis promo and get a special introductory discount. Here's my image. My monkey face will be off the screen for a little bit, and you can take a look at this image and just let it marinate and understand that even a team that might not be so good, if the matchups make it a tough game for a team, even that not so good team can kind of present problems. And so there's teams here that I think that do present some problems if we can overcome and shows we've grown, but they've done a lot of work. A lot of these teams have done a lot of work. So anyway, here's my image. You can see the blue right away. I got the records, and around the blue is teams that, whatever their record was, it looks like they've added some talent to bolster that record. The purple is a team that I think is going to be a little bit not as good maybe as what they were the year before. But I think, and if it's no circle around them whatsoever, that means they're kind of, in the same position. We got to kind of like see how it plays out. And some people right away say, Buffalo lost all those players. Well, we lost a lot of players too. But I think they've done enough stuff to really keep themselves in contention because they've won year after year after year. And you got to kind of give them the benefit of doubt. Now, they could totally collapse. There's lots of things that can happen. It's an Allen-centric team. But I don't think that they're as bad as a lot of people are talking about. But that's my evaluation. These are my evaluations. We'll see. Now, Arizona Cardinals, they added Marvin Harrison Jr. and Darius Robinson. Those are very good picks. Murray, maybe he's got himself a little bit more together now. He's a year more removed away from the injury, 4-13. This is a make or break year for him. It's a bad team. He's playing by us. This is a team we're going to, I can't see us losing. If we do, it's the utter disaster. But I think they're going to be a little bit scrappier than maybe people think. Thankfully, they're at home. I didn't like that they're home. I'd like to have played them on the road because they're a team that's a little bit of a weaker team, and I'd rather play that kind of team on the road because give them the advantage because they're not that good. So we kind of sort of suck up a home game. But maybe it's the opening week, and that'd be nice to kick it off with the win or something to that effect, or maybe it gives us a nice soft win. Then the Bills, they added Curtis Samuel, Keon Coleman. I don't know what Keon Coleman's going to be. Diggs, he was super talented. He really good for the first half, collapsed the second half, personality problem. They added Leo Collins. That's a nice little add. Cole Bishop, the safety spot. It's not going to, they still haven't, we'll see what happens with Micah Hyde. He might come back. We got Poyer. So they've done some things. And then there's guys in the background. You got guys Milano returning. Vaughn, what's going to happen with him? And they're the Bills, okay? Do we play them week one in the sun? There's a lot of things. But this is a tough team, guys. Jacksonville, Gabe Davis, Brian Thomas Jr., and Eric Armstead. Yeah, it's hard rock. I think we're going to win that one. I think the edge is towards us, but that's not a cake team. It's a physical team. They run the football. They've got pretty good pieces. Depends on what Lawrence is going to do. It's not an easy game, and if we win it, we should be proud. Now, the Vegas Raiders, they almost beat us last year. And to me, Gardner Minshew, Michael Gallup, Christian Wilkins. Christian Wilkins is not worth the money. All right, we'll find out. And then Jackson Powers Johnson. They did a really good job. Now, they lost Jacoby. They lost, what the heck's the guy's name? Now, they lost Josh Jacobs. And that's going to hurt. But they did add some very good pieces. When you've got Crosby, Kuntz, and Wilkins, that's a brutal front. And then you add Myers And then you add Bowers. I didn't put Bowers up there. I should have. I don't know why I didn't. But Myers and Brock Bowers, this is a physical attack style, physical run style offense. And Weaver likes to run a small front. And this is going to be a tough matchup. We almost lost last year. And there's a lot of things that go into it. We're better, but they're better too. This is not going to be an easy game. I think this is another game where if we pull it out, we should be proud. I think we're going to win, but that's not an easy contest. And I'm glad it's home. I didn't want it in Vegas. They obviously got the Bills again. Then the Browns, you're going to play them. What time? When are you playing them? In the snow, the rain? They're going to have Watson back. I'm not a big Watson fan, but Zadarius Smith is a really darn good piece. Maurice Hurst, small-time interior player as far as reps, but he's got impact reps. Jerry Jeudy there. And so this is a tough team on the road. They were 11-6 with Flacquito. So, they're going to be, you're adding Watson to this. If they're not this or a little bit better with all the talent they've added, I don't know. Now, Green Bay, you're playing Green Bay on the road. It's always, always tough. They're not a 9-8 team. This is a team that's a pretty darn tough team. They won their first round of playoffs. You add Jordan Morgan, Josh Jacobs, Xavier McKinney, and this is a tough front now. Now, Jordan Morgan, I don't know what he's going to be. Very interesting. They picked him, and he was a little bit of a shocker, but they have such a great job picking offensive linemen. They've got Zach Tom. They got a bunch of other guys. So this is not going to be an easy game, and it's on the road. And then you got Houston Texans, 10-7. That is not going to be a fun game. And, you got to expect they're going to do a little bit better than that. And Stroud was down for a couple of games. He was dinged up, nicked up. And so that, if he's healthy all season, they got rid of Dieter, which is smart. And so they had Stefan Diggs, Joe Mixon, and it's going to be in their house. That's a real tough game. Now, Colts, I'm not a big Colts fan. I like Minshew. I really do. And I'm not saying that, Minshew is better than Richardson, but Richardson got beat up. He's a rookie. We don't know what this guy's going to be. And so I think this is a game that I'm happy it's on the road. This is a less team. They added Raekwon Davis. He's okay. He's one of our guys. Latu, he was a good pass rusher. Adonai Mitchell, DeForest Buckner, and Mitchell's got some problems. But I don't know. This is a physical team, good offensive line, but we should handle that. I think there's going to be growth pains for them. So that's like an easier one. So I think you got Cardinals in this game. That's an easier game. Then you're on the road against the Rams. The Rams are not what they used to be, but DeMarcus Robinson's what a nice add. Darius Williams, Kevin Dotson, Jared Verse. Dotson is he's one of the best right guards in the game. And, anytime you're dealing with former championships, teams, and you're dealing with Stafford, and you got Robinson and Kupp and Nakua, this is not going to be easy. This is not going to be an easy game, especially on the road. So, you look at that record, and 10-7, they're going to be a little better. That's going to be a tougher game. Then the Patriots. I like they brought Amanu back and Duggar back, but they got a rookie in there. They can't be worse than Mac Jones and Belichick. I think there's going to be a pump for this team. I think they're going to be better than 4-13, maybe 6-11 or something like that, or 7-10. I think they're going to be a better team. They're not going to be better than us. I think they're going to give us, but we didn't blow them out. It was tough, scrappy games, both games. So, you see this strength of schedule gets sapped by playing two teams that are 4-13, but they're not going to be a 4-13, and they're a division opponent, which always makes them tough, even if they suck. Jets, people making fun of the Jets, Rodgers, but Simpson, Morgan Moses, Tyron Smith, Mike Williams, they added some really good pieces, and then they added, what's his name? The rookie, one of the F brothers. So let me find his name. Fashanu. That was a perfect pick. You thought they would screw it up. You thought the Jets would probably grab a kicker or Brockers, but they made the right pick. They had a very good offseason. And I'm sorry, Rodgers, he might not be a media doll, but he's a good player. And the last year he played, he had a bad finger. This guy can play. If he can stay healthy. The offensive line and quarterback was the biggest problem. We blew them out, but that was a lot to do with having one of the worst offenses I've ever seen. So you're playing 2-7-10 teams, and you put Rodgers in there, a healthy offensive line, they're at least 10-7. So that's a little bit better than what you think. And we, obviously played one home, one on the road. Thankfully, we got 49ers at Hard Rock. That's a tough team. I mean, I don't know about Parasol. Ronaldo Green's an excellent addition. Yiadom, good free agent. Leonard Floyd to pick up with Young being out there. This team's going to be very, very tough. This is not a good matchup for us, although I think we could win, but it's not a good matchup. They're going to test our offensive line. They're going to be able to limit our pass game. That's not an easy game. And then you wrap it up with Tennessee Titans. We lost to them, and it's all kind of, okay, whatever. Whatever you want to blame. You want to blame Fangio, whatever. Whatever. But this team got substantially better. I mean, Tyler Boyd, Calvin Ridley, Cushenberry. We took Brewer. Cushenberry is like many levels higher than him. I mean, I think Brewer's a very good fit for us. But then you add Ladarius Sneed, Latham, and Devondre Sweat inside along with Simmons. Thankfully, we're home against us. But if you look at this team, there's a lot of physical teams, a lot of teams that like to run, a lot of talented teams. I mean, the only two easy outs that I see would be the Cardinals and then the Colts. And I'm sure one of the home game against the Patriots is going to be an easier game, but not against the division opponent, not against a team that's in the first year, they're all juiced up, and it's a division opponent. So I don't care what the strength of schedule is. This is a tough schedule. I mean, anything can happen. Allen goes down for the season. Rodgers go, whatever, the deal. When do you play these teams? But this is a schedule that's going to challenge this team. This team is going to have to earn it. And I know for a fact it's not going to go the way a lot of people are talking, where it's just smooth sailing and would blow teams out. And I think there's going to be hard times. It could come out early. Weaver's got to get back into calling and figure out his talent. We got to see how it plays out, who we play early on, what's the schedule, what the injuries are. But when you look at what we got, there is opportunities to win all these games. Now, I think Buffalo is going to be tough. I think the Houston-Texas game in Houston is going to be very tough. The Packers game is going to be very tough. San Francisco at home is going to be very tough. I missed Seattle. I forgot to talk about Seattle there. I missed them. Haynes was a nice pickup in the third. Byron Murphy's brutal. He's going to help offset the loss of Donald. Jerome Baker, our guy, blitzing. Noah Fant, along with that physical run attack and the way they like the offensive line's not so good. But it's in Seattle, which is going to be tough. So that's not easy. But there's not a lot of easy outs. But I think we can beat all these teams. We've got to see how it plays out. But I know it's going to be a hard season. I know it's going to be ups and downs. The key is, just like my move here and all this craziness that I'm still working on, do we fight through it? And how do we come out in the end? And how's the fan base going to operate? Every year, it's the same thing. We're going to go to the moon. It's going to be a cake ride. No one can stop us. A few blips. We're done. Tua sucks. The team sucks. Everything sucks. We're doomed. Then we pull out of it. We're going to the Super Bowl. It's all good. And then things happen and we suck and burn the whole thing down. But I think we got to be a little more savvy than that. This year will be very challenging, but the hope is, and it's a real hope, that we've built enough to get through all these things for the most part and do enough to get to the postseason, maybe even take the East. I think it's going to be hard, but win a game or two in the postseason, then restock with picks next year, and then see what we're all about. If we don't do any of that this year, if we don't make the postseason or we get bounced out again in round one, it's going to be disappointing. But I think there's real opportunity here. The hopium is that Bills are done. We're awesome. We're one of the best teams in the league, and it's going to be smooth sailing. I think we're a good team, a very good team. I think there's about 10 very good teams, and depending on how things break, it's going to be very different. But we're in it. We truly are. But let's see. This offensive line is not as good as people think, and it could tear us down. But if guys stay healthy like Tehran and the depth is enough to keep us afloat, then we can go pretty far and have a very respectable season. And that's what it's going to be about, guys. So be prepared for a knockdown, drag-out brawl, and that's what it's going to be, and that's fine. As long as the end, we stand strong and take another step forward. So, all right, guys, I appreciate all you do. Support me here. I don't have my AC in here. I'm sweating like you wouldn't believe. Gotta get the AC. So, guys, I'll be back. I'm going to slowly work my way back. I got to get my comments. I'm sorry. It's been a lot. An hour and a half ride each way to the old house and all this other stuff, guys. So I appreciate you hanging in there for me. This is going to be a very, very intriguing season. We still got some pieces to add. Some money's coming due. Let's see who we add. Hopefully some offensive line. 1 or 2 pieces on this offensive line would be phenomenal. It might take me to that point of reaching closer to the hope and taking the hopium and turning it to the hope if we do that. But let's see. It's going to be a very fun season. I can't wait to get coverage in my new studio. Curtis saying, catch you next time. Be well. Curtis out. Start building your own online sports book today by getting signed up with aceperhead.com service that'll allow you to book action on sports from all around the world.